All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday Fun Day. That's right. It is time for Tejano Time podcast here with myself, Mr. Keith Leal, and today's special guest, Mrs. Hilda Lamas. We were talking about Rick there all this entire time, so his ears are probably burning like crazy right now. But Hilda, again, welcome back to the show. I know you've been on my radio show before in the past, and now this is the first time on the podcast. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Keith, and thank you for having me, and thank you for everybody for tuning in and hanging out with us on, like you said, a Sunday Fun Day.
Yes, definitely. It's a great day, and you are coming off of a little small, I guess I would say, an exciting performance for you last night as well, wasn't it? In Beeville, Texas.
Yes, there was so much action and excitement. We were there at the Texas Class Promotion. They did a lot of kickboxing last night. And I was so honored to be able to sing our national anthem right before to kick everything off. It was awesome.
Right before they beat the heck out of everybody, huh?
Yes, before they start beating each other up.
We were talking about that earlier. She's like, I don't know about that. I mean, I've seen real men just crying out there, you know what I mean? And I said, oh, man, I would not be able to take all that.
And they cry for a little bit, and then they jump right back into the action, and I'm like, y'all are crazy. Okay, you do you.
Yep, definitely. This is awesome having you once again here on the show. It's the Hilda. We've had you on the show in the past for a while. I mean, for some times, a couple of times, I would say. But you have some new music out that we'll get to here in just a minute to share with everybody that's out there that's tuned in. If you're listening or you're watching actually right now, share the video, please. Just share it with your friends, share it with everybody, tag your friends and stuff like that that are out there watching. The performance you came off last night was a great thing for you as well. As to how long have you been, singing? Let's get to that point. For those of the people that are going to be watching us that they don't know much about Hilda Lamas, as to how long have you been doing the singing thing?
Well, I started singing since I was about 4 in my hometown church. We started real young, me and my sisters, with my mom. My mom would accompany us on piano, and we would always do special music in church. And then I didn't really start doing actually getting paid to perform until I was about 13 or 14. And I think I got paid $20 my first performance.
Oh, wow.
And it was for a wedding. And believe it or not, it wasn't for singing. It was for playing the flute. I played flute at their wedding, and that was my first professional gig. And so since then, I just really just loved it. And I knew from a very young age, this is what I wanted to do. My mother was dead set against it. She said, no, you're going to be a doctor. And I won. That's a whole nother story. But I just loved music, and I loved singing. And I remember my mother put us all in piano lessons. It was kind of a requirement in our household. All my siblings went through piano lessons, and we all played one other instrument. So we all had to be in band. We did not have the option to be in choir. That was just not acceptable in our household. They offered it, but I could never take it. I had to be in band. And I do thank my parents for that, because I think without having that firm musical foundation, I don't think I would be able to do the things that I do and be able to understand it and interpret it the way that I do. So for that, I'm very thankful for it. And I love band. I absolutely love playing my flute, piccolo. I just love music, and and so I just craved it so much that when I was about in high school, I just started saying, hey, I'll sing the national anthem for you, or hey, do you have a wedding coming up? I'll do this, do that, and it eventually just kind of snowballed into this beautiful blossoming career that I've been so blessed to have. Because I won't tell you how many years, because that'll kind of put a date on me.
Put a date,
and,
yes.
We don't want to stamp that date just yet. But it's been amazing. I have met so many wonderful people.
Yes.
I have had the opportunity to work with so many talented people, and it gets even better because I get to call many of them friends.
Yes.
And so it's just, music is beautiful, and it brings people together, and I'm just so blessed to be able to keep doing it.
Yes, and you've also shared the stage with many, many, many great artists, and we'll get to that here in just a bit as well. So again, if you guys are watching right now, share the video. Share it throughout, Facebook and whatnot. Again, you're no stranger to the podcasting. You know what I mean, at all. You have teamed up with a good friend of mine as well. It's Mr. Lawrence Casares Indio Cubo. He's got his own podcast as well.
Yes.
His own podcast show, and those that happens on Mondays, right?
Yes, every Monday night at 8:00. And what I love about it is we get to bring on all of these amazing artists.
Yes.
And we get to showcase their talents, and some of the people we get to talk to, and Keith, I know that you kind of relate to this too, is that you're just like sitting there and you're just in awe sometimes because you're like, wow, I'm like really one-on-one like
Yeah.
with this artist, and I get to like, feed off their energy, and you get to ask them literally anything that you want to because they're just so open
Mm.
about their creativity, and it's a beautiful thing. So shout out to DJ Ndio for
Yes.
inviting me on. I've been doing this show with him now since January of this year. And I never ever thought that I would be a podcast host. I did get the honor for about 2 years. I was a DJ on Sundays. I had my Sunday Blues show there at Magic 104 in Corpus
Mhm.
Christi for about 2 years. And I just kind of said, oh, okay, it was just something fun and just kind of went about my business. And then Lawrence is just like, hey, you want to host a show with me? Okay. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but I'm having so much fun doing
And
it.
that's all that matters. That's all. Yeah, he's a great guy, and a big shout out to him también, to Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Cubo, podcast show that he has Monday evening. So don't forget to check him out there. Look him up on Facebook. He's there. He's everywhere. Okay, put it that way. All right, so look him up, and you can check out that show mañana, tomorrow night. That's right, Mondays. All right, so again, getting back to where we're at here, you've got a couple of songs out that you have right now. Caprichosa was one that was before the last single that you just have out right now. So tell me a little bit about that song.
Oh, goodness. Well, we're going to kind of snowball both of them, if you don't mind.
Sure.
When I first moved to Corpus Christi, it was right after high school. I moved to Corpus Christi from Aransas Pass, Texas, and I needed a job. I was a college student and I needed work. So by this time, I had already met Rick, who is now my wonderful husband. But at the time, he was just some really nice record producer who knew I wanted to get into the industry. And he was helping this poor college student out by helping me find a job. Mm-hmm. So he introduced me to this really nice couple, Pedro and Cynthia Marroquin. And I was a waitress. I became a singing waitress. So they would have karaoke. I would sing in between waiting my tables, and my tables would make song requests. And I made really great tips. But Pedro was also a songwriter and a singer in his own right. He's amazing. Mm. And so I remember late nights there at Hacienda Records with Rick. I don't want to say it was like an internship. It was just more me wanting to be around music. So I was always there every time there was a session. And I distinctly remember Pedro coming down to Hacienda and sitting in Rick's office with his guitar and playing some really cool, awesome songs for some of the artists. He was pitching some original music. And I remember thinking to myself, one day I want him to write me my music, because it was just that good. So we lost touch. They closed the restaurant down. They moved away. We lost touch. And then Rick and I moved down to the valley. And lo and behold, Pedro and I reconnect. And I don't remember if it was on Facebook or what. Turns out he was in Brownsville. We're in each other.
Wow.
And he calls me up and he says, hey, why don't you and Rick come by the house? And I was like, okay, and we get there, they have lunch for us. And I mean, they're just amazing people. I've always thought the world of them. Mm-hmm. And so we're sitting there having lunch, and then Pedro says, okay, I want you guys to listen to some stuff. So then he starts playing these songs. And I'm like, wow, they're really good songs. And he's like, I wrote them for you if you want to record them. And I remember just sitting there and like my eyes are tearing up because it was a complete full circle moment. From being that little 18-year-old girl just wanting so badly to find someone to give her some original songs to help her break into the business. Mm-hmm. And then here we are, and it's finally happening. So these songs are two of the many songs that we listened to that day. From Pedro Marroquin. And we did something a little different. I've never had the opportunity to be in the studio and actually have a vocal coach me while I'm in there. Mm-hmm. It's always kind of just been me and Rick and just kind of trying to do the best that we could, especially for me, starting out so inexperienced in the studio. Mm-hmm. This project that we're working on, these two songs are the first two singles from this project. It was amazing to have Pedro in the studio with me and just pushing me and saying, hey, no, you can do this better. You can do that better. Try that. And it was just such an amazing experience recording both of those songs. And, we're working on more. So there's going to be a full album coming.
Awesome.
Yes, but the first single that we released was Caprichosa. Mm-hmm. And we kind of released the music videos backwards. That was
really?
kind of on me. Yeah, so we released Caprichosa, and that did really, really well on radio, and I'm just so thankful for everybody who just embraced. And then we did the follow-up single with Amor Condicional, and it's interesting because we released Caprichosa, then we went to Mexico, we shot both music videos, literally Caprichosa one day, Amor Condicional the next day. I think actually the ballad was first, then the cumbia. And it was just fun times right there in Matamoros. And just a nice, interesting tidbit is my family is from Matamoros. My mom's side of the family is from Matamoros. So it was kind of full circle moment there too, because it was just like, okay, you know, music comes from my mom's side of the family. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. So then we come, you know, here full circle, and I'm actually going back to where my mother was born. And we're like literally there shooting music videos, and it was just an awesome experience. And I'm just so thankful that everybody's really just kind of embraced this kind of new. I don't want to say I'm letting go of the old, because as you know, I was in blues music and country music and, you know, all these different genres. I just love music, so this is just an added genre to what we're doing, because because you know, we've got some more blues music, some more country music coming out too. So it's just been a fun journey.
Yes, and like you said, you know, you've done music English, you know, in Spanish. You've done it best of both worlds here, and you've done all kinds of great things. So but we want to let everybody take a listen to the song right now that you do have out, which is Caprichosa, and that one is already out, and it's available also again to download on all digital platforms. So if you like it, go out there and add it to your playlist. You know, check it out right here for you one time. On Tejano Time with Keith Leal, and also my special guest today, Hilda Lamas. This is her new single right here. Well, this is not her new single. This is her one of the first singles to be off this project. Here we got the other latest single coming up here in just a few minutes. So you guys stay tuned right here. Keep it right here. Don't go away. Share the video, please.
Un payaso, un cretino, inepto, incompetente en el amor, idiota, tan cobarde y tan tonto. Contigo mi paciencia se acabó. A partir de hoy tú te vas de aquí por ser asqueroso, un embustero debajo de mí. Te arrepentirás, lo vas a pagar, porque tus mentiras aquí llegaron a su final. Caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta, toda una dama caprichosa soy. Caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta, toda una dama caprichosa soy. Maldito, un payaso, un cretino, inepto, incompetente del amor, idiota, tan cobarde y tan tonto. Contigo mi paciencia sí acabó. A partir de hoy todo se acabó, todo se acabó. A partir de hoy te arrepentirás, lo vas a pagar, lo vas a pagar, te arrepentirás. Caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta, toda una dama caprichosa soy. Caprichosa soy, no soy una tonta, toda una dama caprichosa soy. Caprichosa soy.
Eres caprichosa, pero si te quiero. Eres bien canija, me tachas del mujeriego, pero ya ni pedo, quedé como un payaso. Aunque tú me insultes, me encanta tu cuerpazo. Nena, vente para acá, esta noche le vamos a dar. Nena, vente para acá. Eres caprichosa y así me encantas más.
Caprichosa soy, no soy una
del género.
Caprichosa soy.
Nena, vente para acá. Esta noche le vamos a dar. Nena, vente para acá. Eres caprichosa y así me encantas más. Nena, vente para acá. Esta noche le vamos a dar. Nena, vente para acá. Eres caprichosa y así me encantas más.
There you have it right there. Awesome tune right there.
Aw,
Just,
thank you.
if no one had a chance to, well, if you hadn't heard the song before, you heard it there, So if you like it, hey, go out there and add it to your playlist. It's available. It's, available to download and streaming on all platforms, all digital outlets. You got a favorite one, go and grab it, okay?
And the music video is out on YouTube. So go check it
Yes. Yeah, and that was the one that was released the before this one or the other one?
No, okay, so Caprichosa came out first, the single, and then we released Amor Condicional with the video at the same time, I think, or like within a couple of weeks. And then after that, we just recently released the video for Caprichosa. So yeah, we did it all backwards, but who cares, right? Who's judging?
It's out, so it's that you can see the videos are available. I believe you can check them out on YouTube as well. Go out there and look at the videos. If you haven't yet, go out there and check it out. Take a look at those; they're available. I want to send a big hello to Irene Mendoza, who is watching. Says hello, Hilda. That's right.
Hi,
Hello.
Irene.
Bobby Castañeda is also watching. They're from California. Hello, Hilda.
Hey,
and Keith.
Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate you. That's right. So, you guys got any comments or any questions or anything like that for Hilda? She'll be more than happy to answer your questions and whatnot for you here on the show. And again, we're joining. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Hilda Lamas. She is from Harlingen. You're currently from Harlingen right now. I mean, you're living in Harlingen.
I live in Harlingen,
Yes.
but born and raised in Aransas Pass.
Nice. There you go.
Texas, of course.
I couldn't quite get that out. You know what I mean? So Irene says she did love your song. She loved it. So
Aw,
awesome.
thank you.
Great deal. You have another single out. This was another one that's your current single that's in radio right now. Amor Condicional, which is the one that's out right now. The video is out for that as well. We'll get to that song here shortly. But in the meantime, we wanted to talk a little bit about you on your career. You definitely have performed on big stages and performed with some of the greatest musicians in the business as well. And we're talking about both sides, whether it be English, whether it be, on the Spanish side. I mean, you've gotten Los Lobos, you know what I mean? That's a pretty good thing. They're sharing the stage with those guys.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my more memorable moments. Man, it's like I said earlier, when you think back, you're like, wow, did I really just do that? And you're just like, and you're just kind of frozen in that moment. And I still remember when I got the call from the promoter, hey, so we want you for this festival, but here's the deal. You're going to be on this stage and this is who you're going to open for. And I was like, okay. And then they call me like a week later. Oh, and by the way, Los Lobos are going to be closing out the show, but you're going to perform in between the band that's opening for him, but you're like also in between that band, so technically you're opening for them. I was like, what? Oh, okay. and that was a memorable night because I still remember my set was supposed to be 30 minutes long and they weren't ready yet. They were running behind schedule. And so I wound up having to perform for an extra hour before they were ready to actually hit the stage. And so that was a memorable night. I was like, wow, literally pulling songs out of everywhere. I was like, okay, this is not what the show's supposed to be, but let's go with some Chain of Fools. Let's go. And it was fun. It was probably one of the funnest nights of my career, to be honest with you.
Outstanding. And again, the Texas Tornadoes is another one. Adassa is another one, that you've shared the stage with. She's a great gal as well, and she had many big things had come her way this past year, and I guess to close out the other year as well, so she's been doing great things as well. And, it's just awesome, amazing that you had the opportunity to share the stage with some of these great artists.
It's just all in God's timing. I'm a big believer of that. And actually, I've got a great story about what happened yesterday that coincides with God's wonderful timing. But I have been so blessed to have so many amazing artists be presented in my path to where it would enable us to whether either it was opening for them or working with them. And I will say this right now, Adassa by far has been one of my favorite people to collaborate with. And I was so blessed to as a corista. I'd never done backups vocals ever. And I was invited along to do it, and she had the faith in me to do it. And I did it to the best of my ability, and we had so much fun. And in fact, I was looking back, and I'll probably be sharing some more of those from our Canada trip. I had never been to Canada. And I
Yes.
still remember she gives me a phone call and she was like, "Hey, how do you feel about Canada?" And I was like, I get it. And she's like, "No, no, no. How would you feel about going to Canada?" And I
Hmm.
was like, "Well, it's on the bucket list, maybe someday." She's like, "No, no, no, okay. How would you feel about going to Canada with me?" And I was like, "Oh." She was like, "On tour." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm there. What do I need to do?" Like, it was like, "Well, wait a minute." But it was the time of my life, and I mean, me and Adasa were still really good friends, and she's onto some really awesome things. She's got some more projects coming out, and I can't wait for you guys to see them. They're going to be amazing.
Awesome.
But it's amazing what music does. It just brings you
Yeah.
together with so many fabulous people, and through her, I met my wonderful friend Mauro Castillo, who is also in Encanto, but also a great musician in his own right. He plays trombone, he sings, and he's just an all around neat guy, humble guy. And he's just super cool. So I just feel so honored that I get to be surrounded by so much talent.
Yes, definitely. That is amazing. And you also have, you've toured, you've played, from coast to coast. You've been to Florida. You've gone all over the place that we're talking about. You just got to say in Canada as well as another one that's there, New Orleans, however you want to put it, because everybody pronounces that all in different 5, 6 different ways. You know what I mean? But you've
New
gone.
Orleans Sound Festival, yes. One of the highlights right there.
Yes, definitely. So you've gone, pretty much, from coast to coast, and performed as well. And not too many artists can say that today. You know what I mean? Some are just local here, within the four corners of Texas or whatnot. Should I say? But they don't expand, or they just choose not to. But you've had opportunities come your way, and you've didn't shoot them down. You know what I mean? You jumped on that opportunity.
I would just like to think that I'm defiant. I was told early on in my career, before I ever released anything, I had a lot of friends that would be like, "Oh, come meet this producer or that producer. They're looking for talent." Okay, great. And I would sit down with them and they would say,
Hmm.
"Well, you have to choose a genre. You can't be all over the map. You have to choose a genre." And I was just very headstrong in the beginning. And I said, "No, because I love music. I want to sing all kinds of music."
Yes.
And I was always told, all of these producers would always try and drill it into me. "No, you have to pick a genre and stick with it." And Rick was the only one who was like, "No, like, you can do whatever you want to do." And so because of that, I took it at his word and I said, "I'm going to do everything. Why not? It's part of who I am." I was raised with so much different types of music,
Hmm.
predominantly Motown and contemporary Christian. So that's more of my background. But then as I got older, I incorporated country. I'm a huge Faith Hill fan. Not many
Okay.
people know that, but I'm
Yeah.
a huge Faith Hill fan. Um, and, Tejano actually came along a little bit later. All of
Hmm.
my Latin influences came along later. My first Latin artist that I was ever introduced to was Gloria Estefan. And it
Wow.
wasn't because somebody said, "Hey, check this out." It was because I was cleaning out a closet during the summer, and my
Hmm.
dad would always buy all these CDs from all of these, flea markets or whatever. And I'm not just talking like 10 or 12, I'm talking like hundreds of CDs. And so I remember finding Gloria Estefan's greatest hits. And I was like, this looks interesting. And that was my first taste of Latin music.
Oh, wow.
And I fell in love with Gloria Estefan. And to this day, she's still one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite songwriters. And then right around that time, I think maybe a year later, is when Selena passed. And then my dad went and he did the whole, "Okay, let's buy all the Selena stuff so my kids know who she is," because we had never been exposed to Tejano music at that point,
Yeah.
ever. And I still remember, and this is just one of those weird, odd stories, but this is how clueless I was to who Selena was. I remember being in middle school, and I get to school, and it was the day after everything happened, and they said, "Oh my God, Selena's dead. She was shot."
All right.
In my mind, this is how clueless I was. I thought they meant my older sister Maria's friend Selena.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how clueless
That's what
I was
just-
to
yeah.
what Tejano music was, to
Right.
who Selena
So you-
was. And I lived 18 miles away from Corpus Christi. So we were kind of raised in, and I would say like a bubble. You know, my parents tried to protect us as best they could from secular music, so to speak. You know, we were raised pretty strict, and so it was contemporary Christian and Motown, because Motown was safe. And I love
Yeah.
Franklin's my favorite artist of all time, hands down. She's the one. And so it's been an interesting journey into my Latin side and getting acclimated to my culture. And that's one of the reasons why we actually moved out.
So if you had, like, for instance, right now, from this point forward, if you had an opportunity to collab with one of the artists in the Tejano, side, who would that be? I don't know if you
You're
have.
putting me on the spot. Oh, there's just so many.
Yeah,
for
and I was
sure
going to say
Shelly
that. I'm
Latta.
sure Shelly Lattes.
Shelly's there, and Jay Perez. Like, oh my God, that man's voice is just silk.
It's killer.
And yes, like he's hands down, yes. Let's see who else. Of course, Jennifer Pena. Like, I've always been a fan of hers, and I think she's super awesome. So she's another one I would love to collaborate with someday. Man, there's just so many. Bobby Pulido, like, yeah,
quite a
now
few.
you're gonna get me going. Yes, I'm always down to collab with anybody, because that's what makes music fun. Is when
Yes.
you make music together with people.
And there's been quite a few that have, and in the recent, I guess since the pandemic on now, that have done a lot of collabs. I guess that's what the business needed, the music business, well, the Hano side definitely needed some of that, to come together to keep it going as well, So a lot of artists out there did collab with quite a few people. I know Shelly had quite a few of them as well. Just to name a few, I know Shelly was for one. I mean, she did quite a few with a lot of artists. When Jessie Leal was one of them. She just finished up one that was just released. It was already done, but it was released, I think, yesterday or the day before with Monica Saldivar.
Oh, yes,
So that
I
was
love
another
Monica.
one.
That's another one on my collab list. Monica, Sonia de la. Yeah, I could go on and on and on and on. There's Carla Cristina.
Yes, she's amazing as well too.
Rita Cappuccina. Actually, Rita and I are already talking about getting a collaboration, so I kind of let that one out of the. I don't know the style yet, but it's going to be something fun.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That's going to be something to look forward to, people, if you're watching out there. That's definitely. Marie says hi. She's over in she's in New Mexico, so hello to Maria.
Hi, Marie.
And Mr. Pablo Urbina también also. Hilda, what up? Grito.
Pablo! You know what? Yes, La Traición. I need
Yes.
to do a collaboration. So, Pablo, hit me up, man.
There you go,
Let's
Pablo.
do something.
Sign her up. There you go. Awesome. Outstanding. A shout out to Pablo as well. Good guy. He's going to be here in the city of Houston very, very soon as well. I believe in July. I think he's going to be here. I want to say it's in July. Yes. Over at Kima Boardwalk. If you guys haven't had a chance to go out there, man, check it out. All right. Well, here we go. He says, let's go. Let's go.
Yay! Just like some background on me and Pablo. Like, I met Pablo, God, when I first got into music, and he was just so kind and courteous and so patient with me, because I really knew nothing. And he would run all the fanfare at one point. And I'll call Rick July 9th. Okay, good. Yes.
July 9th, they'll be in
And
town.
July 9th, y'all. But yeah, I have so many fond memories of Pablo, and just seeing La Traición, I would always tell Rick, oh my God, they're good. So yes, Pablo, let's do it.
Awesome. He's there. He's standing by right now. So he's definitely going to say he's going to call Rick. So he's going to set that up. We're going to get that going. So a big shout out to you. Appreciate you watching, Pablo también. We'll talk with him when he gets into the city as well.
Yes.
That's the next month. So he
so
says
awesome.
he's a great guy. He says cool right there. Awesome. Well, we're going to get another tune out of the way that you have here as so we can get everybody an opportunity to listen to your other single that you have out. That's your current single that's out right now.
Yes.
And this is entitled Este Amor Condicional. And we're going to play that for everybody that's watching out there right now. So if you're watching, check this one song out. And if you like it, it's available to download on all streaming platforms. We're talking about CHR Records recording star right here, Hilda Lamas. Check this one out, all right?
Un amor sincero, eso quiero yo de ti. Un amor divino, solo huracán, un amor completo, no migajas que me das. Solamente pido que me des tu atención. No seré esa gata que maulle por tu amor. A mí me vas a amar con 6 sentidos. A mí me vas a dar lo que te pido. Amante sin control de noche y día. Amante de verdad, no se limita. Si es un amor condicional, y esos me encuentro a la vuelta de la esquina. Tal vez en tu vida fue común amar así. Yo no soy perfecta, pero en esto por favor, solamente pido que me des tu atención. No seré esa gata que maulle por tu amor. A mí me vas a amar con 6 sentidos. A mí me vas a dar lo que te pido. Amante sin control de noche y día. Amante de verdad, no se limita. Si es un amor condicional, no quiero amor condicional. A mí me vas a amar con 6 sentidos. A mí me vas a dar lo que te pido. Amante sin control en noche y día. Amante de verdad, no se limita. Si es un amor condicional, estos me encuentro a la vuelta de la esquina. Si es un amor condicional, esos me encuentro a la vuelta de la esquina.
There you have it. It's available to download on all streaming platforms right there. Amor Condicional. Hilda Lamas. Another great jam right there on Houston'sTejanoHits.com as well. We're spinning that song. And I got some more positive things here for you right here quick. She says, I love this song. Whoop, whoop, beautiful voice. God bless your talent. Marie.
Oh, thank you, Marie.
And también also a nice song, Pablo says as well.
Oh, thanks, Pablo.
Irene, beautiful song. So you got some people that love the song out there, so that's
thanks,
amazing.
Irene. Y'all are so sweet.
Again, we're talking with Hilda Lamas. If you're just joining us, please share the broadcast as well as she's joining us here. She does her own podcast as well on Monday. She's doing her own music. She's got a lot going on right now. It's just to get everybody up to par right now. As that she was out at a performance last night, and it's been a long day for her. It was a long day yesterday for her. She was saying earlier, and today was just it was one of those days when you're driving back from a performance or from a city that you were in, and then you're back home. I know the feeling. You know what I mean? To drive from one city to another and get home, and then you've got to prepare for a podcast with Keith. You know what I mean? So you're like,
oh come on! I was looking forward to this. Okay, so we'll backtrack. We'll do a short story from yesterday. Okay, so I had it all in my mind. I was like, you know what? We're going to take off early in the morning because it's about a 2.5 hour drive to Bevo where we were last night. And of course, Rick decides to sleep in late. So we took off late I'm trying to hold my composure because I hate being late. I absolutely detest it, but I'm always late. So that's a whole nother thing. So we took off. And of course, I didn't check the car. I was just like, let's just go. I'm in a hurry. We'll just stop for gas. Anda, let's go. So we take off. We hit Rivera. And then all of a sudden, we're like right past the stripes. And the AC just like stops blowing cold. Like it's still blowing, but it's just not cold.
Not cool.
So I tell Rick, I look at the dashboard, the battery light comes on, and I'm like, holy moly. Okay, we're turning around. We turn around, we get to the stripes. The tool that Rick needs, they don't have it. I think it was like just WD-40 or something like that is all Rick wanted, and they didn't have it. So he's like, look, let's just try. And he's thinking it's the battery, something that he didn't fix, that he should have fixed weeks ago, that he has yet to fix. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
Man.
Just throwing him under the bus today, man. It was from the fights last night. I'm still all riled up from it. But so we take off, and I'm like, okay, the light went off. That's probably the problem. Again, right around the same part of the highway, the battery light comes back on. So we turn back around, go to the Dollar General. Don't go to Stripes, go to Dollar General. Okay, it's right up the street. We get there. They don't have any WD-40. So I'm like, okay. So this really nice couple right next to us, they were standing in line behind Rick at the dollar store, and they were like, hey, here's some WD-40, right? So we try getting this little piece off so we could replace it, whatever. Long story short, didn't happen. So the guy was kind enough to give us his cousin's number, and he was like, yeah, you guys can probably make it into Kingsville and call my cousin. He'll be able to help you out, whatever. He has a tire service or something, he said, but it's minor. He'll help you. Okay, great. We make it into Kingsville. We go to O'Reilly's first because we're like, oh, let's just go buy the part. Well, we get there, and it's not that little part. Come to find out, the serpentine belts actually busted. How we made it from Rivera to Kingsville, which is about a 15-mile stretch, no idea. But I'm just like, okay. At this point, I'm getting ready to call my parents because they still live in Aransas Pass. And my dad has, people that work for him that would come out and help, with the situation. So I was like, all right, let's call the parents. Well, the guy from O'Reilly's, he's telling us, hey, well, we have the parts, whatever. And I said, well, do you have a mobile mechanic? Because I got to be in Beeville in like 2 hours. And we still have an hour and a half drive. And literally we look over, and there's this guy, and he points at him, and he goes, that guy right there, his name's Trey. Like, he's in here all the time. He's a great mechanic. Let's go talk to him. I'll introduce you. So literally, it's all about God's perfect timing. He placed those wonderful people there in Rivera for us. And he placed Trey right there at the right time. He comes, he looks at it. He says, yeah, sure, no problem. He fixes it. We're up and out of there within 30 minutes. We make it to Beeville just in time. And I'm thinking, wow, okay, great. We did really, really good on that. And I'm thanking Jesus the whole way. And so is Rick, because I'm like, all right. And then literally I'm like, okay, I'm going to be late. So I'm pushing Rick like, hey, we got to go. We got to get out of the hotel. We got to go to the venue. And we're running late. And again, God's wonderful timing. We go to the elevator, and the elevator is stuck. There's literally people stuck in the elevator.
Wow.
Had we left any earlier, like I wanted to leave, we would have been the ones stuck in the elevator.
Yes, that would have just topped off your evening.
Yeah, God's perfect timing. Sometimes when he makes you hit all those red lights, don't get frustrated. That's him saving you from something. Yes. And so, so yes, we had to take the stairs down and up and all this other stuff. But, considering we could have been stuck in the elevator and missed the show, I will take that any day of the week. So yeah, so there's my fun story from yesterday. The drive back was a breeze, though, so that was good.
That was
my
good.
air conditioning was nice and cold.
So everything got taken care of. Trey, yes, he took care of everything for you. That's an outstanding person right there. You know what I mean? Like you said, he was placed in your way, and he did what he had to do, and that's wonderful. We need more people like that in this country, in this world, should I say? Period.
Yesterday, all the people that we encountered were super, super sweet. And I honestly thought I'd kind of lost faith in humanity, because I think we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle.
Yes.
And, we want everything now. And I think that people just kind of forget that everybody's human. But everybody we encountered yesterday was just so kind, and they all went
Yeah.
out of their way. They didn't have to, but they did. And it was just so wonderful to see. And I think maybe God was just trying to show me, and like, hey, there really is good people still left here in this world. And it's up to all of us to carry that forward, you know? And I think if we're all carrying it forward, then the world's just a much better place for everybody.
Oh, yeah, certainly, definitely. Again, if you guys are just joining us, we're talking with Hilda Lamas. She is with us live right here on the Tejano Time podcast with your host, Mr. Keith Leal. Hilda's got a podcast she's going to be doing tomorrow night, so don't forget you can catch her también with Mr. Cuvo. He's got the podcast, which is Lawrence Cáceres. I can never get his name right. You know what I mean?
DJ-NDO.
NDO, yes. Indio, right?
Indio, yes, because he's Indian.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Great guy as well. So you can catch her Monday nights. All right. What time is that on Central Time?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Central Time. Yes. We have so much fun on that show. We laugh. We talk about firemen. And you'll have to watch the show to get the explanation on
definitely.
that one.
And you can catch them once again, mañana. You look them up, and you can follow her social media page as well. What are your handles for your social media if anyone wants to follow you or look you up?
On Facebook, it's at Hilda Lamas Music. And then on all the other platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Insta, it's all at Hilda Lamas.
Okay.
And it's all one word, and that's HILDALAMAS.
There you go.
I try to make it simple, guys.
Yes. So if you guys are watching out there, you can go back to it, go back to the broadcast as well, and look it up. It'll be on there so that we can follow her pages, keep up with her music. Now, are you currently working on any new music right now?
Yes. So in addition to finishing up this project that these two singles are coming from, it's going to be a Tejano project, and everything will be written by Pedro Marroquin, and of course produced by Rick. And then we've also got, I'm excited about this one, a new blues project that's coming out.
Okay.
So this Friday we will be laying down the guitar parts, and then the first 3 songs are done. And I'm super excited for this because it's been a long time coming. And, I kind of got a little sidetracked with the move and stuff like that. And then, of course, we lost my drummer at the time, Mr. Ernest Reese. And many of you guys will remember him from Los Chachos. He was one of the original guys, and an amazing guy. And so after that, I kind of just took a little break from the blues because my last blues project, he was very hands-on. He helped co-produce and engineer and all this other stuff. We had a blast. So we kind of took a step back. So this is going to be the first blues project since that last record, and I'm really excited for it. In addition to that, we've also got a country project that we're working on.
Outstanding. Nice. You're
A
very
little bit
busy.
of everything out there, and I'm excited for it all. We've got a lot of performances coming up. Most recently, we just solidified everything for Pioneer Days in the Fort Worth area.
Okay.
So I'm excited there with the band. So you guys mark that down. It's in September. I know this Friday I will be doing Valley por Vida. It's an actual, it's a TV show with Miss Danielle Banda here in the Valley. So once that shoots, then I'll make sure and share it on all the socials, of course. I'm just super excited about a lot of the really amazing things going on right now. You'll be able to see all the dates and stuff on my website, and of course all of my social media. And then the big one, and I haven't shared this with anybody, Keith, so you're going to be the first one to hear all about this, other than Rick. I've been sitting on this, and we're sending out the press release this week, so I think I can go ahead and just spill the beans.
All right, just spill them all over the place. Why not?
Spill them everywhere here with you, Keith, right? I will be going to Nashville, Tennessee this October, once again for the Josie Music Awards. And I'm super excited. I have been nominated in 3 different categories this year. This is my 3rd year getting nominated. It's always been for World Artist. But this year, in addition to World Artist, I'm also on the ballot for Female Artist, female vocalist, actually. And then Music Video of the Year. And the music video one is probably the most special to me because I am the only Spanish language video that's nominated. Everything else is in English.
You should be proud of yourself on that there. Congratulations to you, first of all, as well. All your nominations. You have quite a few, don't you, now? Under this I mean, you had 3 you said? 3 nominations?
3 nominations for this year, and I'm super stoked about this. And it's the largest independent award show in the entire world. So there was over 59,000 submissions for every, and whole.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to be among, the finalists for these categories, it's just amazing. It's very humbling, and I'm very honored to be a part of, these nominees. And I'm floored with the music video nomination, because I really didn't see that one coming.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you didn't see it coming, but it's here now. Congratulations to you. That's some outstanding work that you've done, and you're going to continue to do so as well. If people that you're watching out there, if you have not heard this girl sing Christmas songs, I had to say this. I had to get this out, because she is just amazing. I know we have a few that she sent us in the past, and and every year we've since the past few years we've played those songs, and they're amazing. You know what I mean? She's got an amazing voice. She can do both sides of the board, should I say, Spanish and English, like she's got some, like she said, blues are on the way. She's got some country. She does it all. And Rick said, you can do whatever you want. And she's doing whatever she wants. You know what I mean? So congratulations to you with all those projects.
Thank you so much. It's like I say, I just love music, and I'm very blessed that I get to share it with everybody. And of course, you always run into some people like it and some people don't, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
I'm totally good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody has their preferences.
Right.
And so it's so amazing. And on Christmas music, there will be a new Christmas album this year. I'm excited for that.
There we go.
It's kind of a fight in our household, when you're smart and you marry your producer, right? That's a smart thing for a vocalist to do, because he can't tell you no, because then you just kind of like, hey, happy wife, happy life. So, it's a constant struggle, because Rick's not really big on the whole Christmas music thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I am. So if he wants to make me happy, that's what we do.
That's what we do. So there's definitely going to be one in the books, should I say, huh?
Yes, there is another one in the works. This past Christmas, we did one that's all in Spanish, and I was just so happy to be doing that. Like I said, when we moved down here, part of the reason for that is I wanted to get more in tune with my culture and where I came from. And, my mom was born in Matamoros, Mexico, and that's, where her family was raised and everything like that. And, when you have that in your genes, you want to explore it. You want to, get closer to it and learn more about yourself and your family and the family members that you didn't even know that you had.
You had, right?
Yeah, you're just like, okay, great, So it's truly been amazing, getting to learn more about where my parents come from. Primarily my mom. Here in Harlingen, we're like maybe 30 minutes away from Matamoros. So it gives me the opportunity to kind of go back. And I know, yes, it's kind of dangerous sometimes, but I've never had issues. So, I guess I'll keep exploring while I can.
Well, you can. Yes, definitely.
I can, yes.
Awesome. Well, it was always a pleasure to have you on the show, Hilda. We're definitely going to look forward to the next as well. We hate to let you go right now, but I know it's Sunday evening. But we got one more comment here. I think I believe. Let's see here. Puro Pelo Talk Show. That's right. It says, "What's up, buddy?" All right. Also, and Irene says, "Congratulations" as well. I believe that's on the nominations and all the stuff that we talked about earlier. Yes, thank you, Irene. And it says this was from earlier. I think she says, "You're welcome, beautiful." That was there. So yes, definitely to all that tuned in today, share the video as well. As to, again, Tejano Time podcast here with Keith Leal, your host, and Hilda Lamas, my special guest today. Thank you so much again, Hilda. We do appreciate you taking the time to be on the show today. Anytime, the door's always open. So stay with if Indio gets tired of you over there, just tell him to shoot you this way, okay? He's such a great guy.
You are so sweet, Keith. Thank you so much for always having the door open, not just for me, but all of us artists. We're all just trying to get out there and have our music heard. And you are one of the people that we know that we can always count on. So thank you for always being there for us. And thank you for always having our back and supporting us. Thank you for just hanging out with me for this, 45 minutes, an hour,
definitely. Anytime. It was great having you on the show. It's a lot better when we can, see each other face to face than it is like on the radio. Sometimes, the phone interviews are great, but it's difficult to read each other at times. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. But I mean, phone interviews have been there. They're not going anywhere. They're still going to continue to be here, whatnot. But it's always good to have them live as well. So I thought I'd be a great guy and said, let's invite Hilda on. We ran against each other, into each other in San Antonio. That was at the fan fair. Yes.
Fanfare. We were there
Definitely.
briefly, and I went to go see Rita Cappuccino. That was my big, like, I have to see this
Had to
girl
go see her.
live. Because, well, she sings Tejano, but she also sings country and she sings blues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh my God, I got to go see her. And I fell in love with her, and she's super, super sweet. And so it was a very short trip for us. And then we ran off to go see Adasa on the other side of San Antonio, like right after that. And then we went home. So it was a pretty fun-filled trip. But thank you once again for having me on here. And next time I'm in Houston, I will make sure to hit you up. Maybe we can go grab lunch or something. Me, you
Awesome.
and Rick.
Definitely.
It'll just be loads and loads of fun.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that, Hilda. Thank you so much for taking the time. Until next time, you take care. You God bless, and have a great evening.
You too, hon. Thank you to everybody who watched.
Thank you, guys.